This program contains coarse language and discusses mature themes. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
I mean, I know you're into kind of handcraft tools and whatnot. Well, tools.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I do make a lot of furniture.
Yeah.
My I don't know. One of my hobby outlets. All right, here we go. But yeah.
What's the latest thing that you've made?
We just made a fire hose paddle like a couple weekends ago.
You did tell me about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one's pretty interesting. We made 10 of them. We got to get them finished.
Well, is there like a business or something behind it, or just for fun, or?
No. One of the people I know from, or a friend I know from, a local swingers group. He got his hands on 50 feet of decommissioned fire hose and chopped it all up and made wooden handles for him.
I never would have looked at a fire hose and went you could turn that into a paddle.
Well, it's just like a strap paddle, right? Except it's just a different texture and weight.
Is there some sort of like I know with paddles there's certain extensions of extreme play with it. Do you have to be very gentle with them, or?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a wooden, or the fire hose paddles are a lot more abrasive. I'm not super into impact. I like just making the implements. But yes, you do have to be kind of careful. One, it is a little bit heavy. The fire hose can be a lot heavier, especially if it's got the rubber liner in it. So that fabric you see on the outside isn't the actual hose. That is designed, that's a nylon sleeve designed to keep the hose from getting cut or any sort of abrasion onto the rubber hose itself. So inside it is this thick rubber hose.
And how if you're making them, how do you go about telling people how to use them? When what kind of audience is looking for that kind of stuff? Just because I'm starting to get into impact play.
Yeah. So there's a lot of sadists that are into the fire hose paddles. I think it's one of those things you kind of have to play with it and work up on impacts with your partner, whoever you're doing, if you're impact top or impact bottom. You start light and work your way up on the sensations on it. I think that's how I would approach it, because that is if you swing it, it's very hefty.
Yeah, because I'm sure you have to kind of test that out on yourself or whoever is comfortable doing that with you, because you have your lovely partner who she's so wonderful. That you guys have too much fun online. It's incredible.
Yeah, well, we don't do a lot of impact. I'm not really an impact top or dom. So I fall into the pleasure dom camp. Woodworking is just a hobby, and I've got a lot of kinky friends who like to just, they're like, oh, you have a wood shop, we should make kinky things. And I'm like, sure. I like projects. I'm a total project hoe. But for me, when I do projects, I like to do one, and then I'm like, okay, I know how this is made now. I don't want to do anymore. I don't
I'm all done.
Yeah. So when people ask me, I get a lot of messages do you make paddles? And I'm like, yeah, sometimes. I'll make a one-off paddle for somebody, but I don't want to be an Etsy store. That doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, that's it's so surprising how many things that you have made and want to make, and yet you don't make a profit off of it. You're just doing it for funsies.
Yeah. Actually, for a while there, it was almost like a date. Play partners come over and they would make and design their own paddles for their other partners, because I wasn't really into impact.
That you would never consider, because you have this I've never heard of it before until I found you, that you have audios of reading stuff, or whatever it's reading a book or some erotica, and it's incredible, and yet you're not putting Like any, like you're not getting any funds for it.
No, no. So I definitely stand by the number one way to ruin a hobby is try to turn it into a business. Um,
Mm-hmm. That's
so,
how I am too. Like with the
yeah,
podcast, like I don't care about making money. It's just for funsies, because once you take that and start monetizing it, it's like I hope we do get monetized for this podcast, but I started it because it's fun.
yeah, yeah. It has a lot of work to do some stuff, but like for me, I'm very like inconsistent with the audios. I haven't made one in a while. Like I go in like waves of like I'll make a bunch and then I'll do something else. My ADHD, you can see my ADHD through my content. I'll go in like phases easily. Like I'm doing this thing and now we're doing this thing and like we've been doing like sexy video clips and like maybe I'll go back to audios and like
I would say the videos you've been posting have been pretty woof lately. Oh my gosh.
mm.
And do you usually do you like with your content that you post out? It's usually just your primary partner, correct? Because I know that you're polyamorous.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Would you ever post anything with your other partners?
I have two partners and like we do post like some photos. I think that's like the extent of her comfort with like that kind of content on FETLIFE or in general. So.
But and being a polyamorous, it's a very hard time to do. Like it can. Well, I mean, like for you, it seems like it's like amazing for you.
Yeah, I mean, you go through your like waves of like communication and like figuring out everyone's needs. It takes a lot of like I think honesty. And like I don't know, we've definitely had our struggles. Nothing's like perfect, right? And like went through like trying to figure out like what the relationship is and like what do you need from it and like yeah. So it's polyamory is a lot of work. I think that's the thing people don't realize. There's just a ton of like self-realization and self-work in polyamory. There's a lot of insecurities, and most of them are your own.
Do you remember who like initiated like wanting to be poly?
So both my relationships like started out in E&M relationships. So like post divorce, I dated a polyamorous woman. And I kind of like fell into the lifestyle that way. Like I dated her, and she had a husband, and he had a girlfriend.
Oh wow!
So like that was my introduction to polyamory, and that was like 2018, 2019.
I thought you were gonna say when you were 20. I was like, wow, that's really early.
No, I'm not that. Yeah. No, there's no way a 20-year-old me would have had the mental capacities and maturity to do.
I don't think anyone in their 20s should do that. No.
No, they kind of need to get their life in order first.
Yeah.
I know I did. But yeah. Yeah, sometimes we do post content though, taking back the long circle with Kite and Kit Kat. So, yep, Kite is my primary partner, and we do, kind of like everything, right? Yeah, we do like post sometimes, like, every now and then we'll get up to spicy fun with like extra friends, and every now and then we'll post stuff like that. But I don't know, it just depends.
And so, like, getting into like a polyamorous relationship, how did you guys meet your partners? And is she also in that relationship? Because for me, with my polyamorous relationship, I have my husband and my boyfriend separate. Is she involved at all?
No, they're not like they're not dating each other. Like, they have pretty separate relationships. They're pretty independent. I mean, we do a fair amount like scheduled communication, right? That's always one of the second hardest battle of polyamory, right? Aligning schedules, especially if everybody's got multiple partners.
Right. Because most of the time, when people talk about being a polyamorous relationship, they think that we're all together. Whereas there are like certain relationships, like with, it sounds like you and I are like very similar. I have separate relationships.
Yeah, I
and
think
everyone's open to it.
Yeah, I think triads are far more difficult than people realize to balance. That's definitely, I've been a part of like a series of failed ones. So like, there's just a lot of complexity there, and time, and it's never like an equilateral triangle, right? The sides, all the relationship dynamics are different, and the relationships grow at different speeds, and triads are complicated. I wouldn't. That's like black belt polyamory. I'm not there.
It's definitely a very difficult thing, but the fact that you get to share your love with other people and they get to love each other, I think that's very groovy.
Yeah, it is very cool.
Yeah. And you are, I just love that you have this amazing relationship with all these people, and they really can understand, because having your primary partner, which I love you to death, she commented my photo earlier and it really threw me off. And she seems like the sweetest soul in the whole world.
Yeah, she is. She's very sweet. She's also very spicy.
How did you guys meet?
So we met through a dating app. I think it's called Field, which is like a E&M dating app.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like all modern starts to relationships, they began with a swipe or a check mark.
Yeah.
And then a lot of dialogue. But yeah, I think it's hard to meet people organically, unless you, especially in the lifestyle, because like it's very hard to assume that like somebody's just like out on the street, that they're going to be like anywhere remotely into E&M. So it's almost like you have to meet people through very specific channels or events for like them to like, for the first step to being like, everybody here is like in some sort of open or E&M relationship, or is open to those things. So yeah, it definitely makes dating a lot more complex in many ways.
Yeah, congrats on you being in a relationship, because trying to date, like going on like just like on like an app, it was funny. I was talking to a guest the other day, how she met her partner, who they met through Bumble, and are now in a kinky relationship, and like those kind of apps, you would never think that kind of stuff.
No, every now and then you like might stumble across somebody who is. I haven't been on one in a few years. Well, no, I take that back. I've been on one in the past year. That's a lie. But like that's how I met my partner, Kit Kat. So like you do find them. It's interesting. But yeah, it is far more rare to find kinky people on, I would call them vanilla dating apps. It's possible.
It's very possible, because people don't know that they are kinky until they talk to someone like us who are like openly kinky.
Yeah, that's true. I think everybody's into like a certain level of freak. I think it's just like being able to be like, yeah, I want to like try all these things and do all these things. Yeah.
Well, that's why I always tell people, and I've said this a lot on the podcast, sometimes if you want to put a figure in your butt while you're taking a shower, that's fine. It's just people are so not open to being. They don't like the word kink freaks people out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think people automatically go to like the extreme of like heavy impact.
Because I mean, you have some really fun kinks, like with your toys and whatnot, and you have your poly, you swing too, and you do your classes. that you attend that you told me about?
Yeah, there's some pretty. Yeah, we got a couple of cool groups in here in in Michigan in general. Like, there's
What's
a
the
couple of.
kink world like in Michigan? Because that's just like for me, like
It's interesting. So for me on the west side, it's very interesting because this is like I'll call it like the Bible Belt of Michigan, West Michigan.
Oh, great.
It's a very religious conservative side, but it definitely has a healthy kink scene. I think the hard part is like venues. There's just not a lot of venues to like go do that, or like dungeons. There's a few, and they're pretty good. There's the gallery in Lansing. It's a very cool space that opened up, and they do a lot of probably a little bit more of the extreme like kinks, like the needle play. They hold seminars on that kind of stuff, and like how to do it safely, and like there's a space for it. They got like a whole medical room. Pretty intense. I'm not really into that, but like there's a space for it, and like we got a couple places that do like role classes. We've got one in Grand Rapids now that they've got a couple people like running classes out of I think like a dance studio, like after hours kind of thing.
Wow.
Kind of cool. And then Oblige in like Detroit is like that's a designated like not a dungeon, but I would say like a kink space. I've never been. I've seen a lot of the photos and it looks very beautiful. But there's definitely like spaces for it, and like a lot of those places are definitely trying to like educate to get people in and like to do it like safely. I know like the kink world and like the BDSM world like is full of, which I don't want to say full of, but there's definitely like some shady characters, and like so there's a very good that there's these like places that are like doing like kink 101, negotiations 101, like what's that like, and like because like I don't think there's like there's not like a good resource for that for like to learn, because like there's not a lot of books. There's probably some. They're probably hit or miss. And no, I think that's probably one of the coolest things I've seen is definitely like the kink education space. I think Wicked Grounds does like online ones.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but kink scene and E&M scene in West Michigan is limited, right? We're not a huge metropolis, but it's here and it's relatively healthy. I would say it's pretty small. Like after you've been in it for probably 5 to 10 years, you probably know most people or have like adjacently known somebody who knew that person or like played with that person. The degrees of separation are pretty small. I'll put it that way.
That's wild. It's so funny to have the comparison from the East Coast to West Coast of the kink lifestyle is so vastly different.
Yeah. So I don't know if I really pay attention to like East Coast, West Coast. I'm in the Great Lakes states.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Area in its own. It's very small. So yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see how people treat kink in the different spaces. But I imagine there's probably a lot larger populace doing it. But in that case, I imagine there's probably it's more pocketed, meaning that like this is like a kink group, and like this is like a poly group, and like this is a swinger group. That Venn diagrams might not even really touch each other in large cities, whereas the Venn diagram in like West Michigan is like everybody's in that kind of like bucket, because everybody like knows everybody. Like not everybody's kinky, not everybody's like polyamorous or a swinger, but like there's just a lot of overlap between those groups because it's such I would say small community.
Yeah, it's funny how we're about 60 episodes in this podcast, and hearing from each different state, there's like certain cliques.
Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely.
each state kind of does its own theme. Like I've learned, California, people would think the kink world is really big out there. Not,
Really?
not at all. Yeah, I mean, there's cliques, and but here in Arizona, everyone's kinky.
Yeah. I wonder why that is. It's like a demographic pull to the state, or. Yeah, that is interesting. I wonder if California and like kink. I see it for me. Like kinky doesn't mean like I don't consider like poly. Like if you're polyamorous, it doesn't necessarily mean you're kinky.
That's not a kink.
Yeah. So like it's interesting. I wonder if like there's a lot more like E&M, but not like a kink culture.
Maybe that might be a thing, because I know, like, because when you think about California, like everyone's first like thing, if you say the word kink, you instantly go to San Francisco and they think, oh, the gay community is really big out there, which it is, and there's a lot of like gay clubs out there, but like party wise events and whatnot, there's no like events going out there.
Really? Yeah, I've never been to like the big venues. I'd like to go. I mean, it's always just it depends. Like I gotta find like kids' schedule and all that shenanigans. But it'd be very interesting to go to like those like big venues, like the Comic-Con of kinky things.
Oh my God, what a wet dream!
It exists, I imagine. I'm sure there's a thing, and I don't know what it is, but
yeah, I mean, there's Exotica that's going all around. I'm planning on going to Exotica this year in New Jersey.
What is Exotica?
Exotica is a huge adult industry convention.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be a lot of stuff going on there. And there's a lot of people who, especially from FETLIFE, will be there. And, I'm hoping to go to a lot of like the after parties and whatnot and like meeting everyone, because from a site like FETLIFE, I hope you've met a lot of amazing people off of there.
Yeah, I've met quite a few. It's always kind of fun when you're traveling to try and like grab a drink with people as you're out and about. So I met up with some people when we were in Canada. That was fun. Going out drinking with them.
We love our Canadians. Shout out to you guys. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for helping editing this podcast.
Yeah, there's a lot of very cute Canadians.
I mean, FETLIFE is made from like the original makers of FETLIFE is Canadians. So
Are they?
Oh yeah.
Well, hey, that makes sense. They don't have a lot else to do up there besides be kinky.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's called one fuck.
Yeah. Wintertime's the perfect time for that.
Exactly.
But yeah, so it's I think it's interesting though, because like FETLIFE is like this. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. It's interesting because like there's a very large demographic on FETLIFE that view FET as like a porn site, and I vastly dislike that usage for FET versus like I view it much more like a social media site in terms of like what like to get inspiration and see what other like freaky people are doing, and like because like kinky people are very creative. Like some of the predicaments you see people put in and like the things they get up to, it's so good. And like some of the photos and the photography is just gorgeous.
I mean, the number one that's always on KMP is I love her to death, and she puts so much thought and work into his Pootie XX, and she's so artistic and puts a lot of thought behind it. And it's not just like, oh, just another photo. Like I know I've been a victim. I'm not a victim. I shouldn't say that. I've been someone who just like throws something up, but it's because I'm trying to advertise for my podcast. And if I know that if I don't have that followed by like something naughty, but like there's some amazing like people out on FETLIFE that put out some amazing content that inspires us. Like you inspired me the other day. I told you about that video that I love so much. I'm not gonna lie, I watch it all the time when you threw up on the wall, and I was like,
That's a good one.
It's a really good one. And then just you guys just like having fun in the kitchen.
Yeah. So yeah, we have a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, you should like. I think we take sex too seriously sometimes, and like it's definitely like if you don't have like a good gaff at some point during like your scene or you're playing, like I don't know, I think you're doing it wrong.
And you guys aren't content creators, and I love that so much.
No, I don't. Like, because we thought about it, because like we were like, well, it'd be kind of fun to do, right? Like, and then you get into it, and like you understand like how much work goes into the production of like the content creation. Because like we started a Fansly for like a second. We're like, okay, like we like signed up, and like we had like a bunch of videos of just like us like home videos, like the ones that like I snip the minute clips of and just like throw on FET, right? Like we've got like hours and hours of like just us playing. I'm like, well, we could like chop it all up and like edit it and like post those and like, but like, man, like you start getting into it and it's like so much work. People like I really like dislike when people give content creators shit because like the amount of effort and thought and like that has to go into it, and a lot of people critique, it doesn't matter what you put out there, it's going to be critiqued in some way. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's hours and hours of work, even for like that little 5-minute clip. It's not just like
it's not people have the misconception of it just being like, okay, I'm gonna record a video and just throw it up there. And some people do, and congrats on them for doing it. But for the people who like, you're a very creative person. Like it's incredible. And like some of like the photos that you post, I want to ask, what's up with the mug?
Which one?
You have the coffee mug.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you do it so artistically.
So funny story there.
Yay! I want the story. Thank you.
So there is I'll call it a kinky Facebook group that I'm a part of for like local.
It's insane that Facebook is still relevant. I love this. Okay, I'm invested.
So you can like post photos and things, but there's definitely like very strict guidelines on like, especially for like the mail form. So like the coffee mug is like one of my mechanisms of like you have to like cover your genital area, and like I've definitely caught like 3-day bans, even like not showing, but like because I've got pretty defined I got a pretty defined Adonis belt, or I did before I started bulking.
If people don't know what it is, he's talking about his cum gutters.
Yes.
That's what they are.
I didn't realize that until I posted a photo in the.
Well, it's a fetish.
I didn't realize that. But yeah, I posted a photo in the kinky Facebook group, and like one of the women commented on it, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. So, but yeah, the coffee mug is definitely like the mechanism to cover up seductively.
Oh, it didn't cover it up. It's too. You've got too much going on down there.
No, well, so I'll say this: the FET gets the better version, right?
Oh yeah. Thank goodness.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of like the story behind the coffee mug. Like, I'm a big coffee drinker. I probably drink too much. But yeah, it's my prop. It's one of my favorite props is my coffee mugs. I'm not the only one. I know there's a couple other spicy people out there that like to take coffee photos.
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember there was a time where like I was like taking photos of like my tea mug, in between my crotch, and like having like the handle like pointed in. I was like, this is my prop. I can't hide that kind of stuff. I tried to be. I can't go on Facebook anymore because it just I've never understood how there's a kinky side of Facebook. Where do you find that?
So like that's a lot of like the groups. Let's say like there's like swinger clubs and things like that, and they have their own Facebook group where like post events, and like a lot of them will like post. We'll call them like like thirst traps and stuff. It's just people being fun, right? There's also definitely kinky discords. That's very common.
I have noticed that lately. A lot of people have been trying to like invite me to like kinky Discord because for me, I associate Discord for like gaming.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of that is like it's like an alternative server for like a limited group of people. Because like the big thing about FET is a huge universe, and like when you post something out into FET, it's like you're like broadcasting to the world. When like a lot of times, I think a lot of people want to tease or like share with like a very specific subset of humans. Because I think FET overwhelms a lot of people, and there's not really an alternative to FET. So I think people are creating like these discords as like an alternative option. Because we've got a couple here in like West Michigan, like that like essentially like they're like munch organizers, but they've got like other like streams or pages. I don't know what they call them, like substrings, like different like strings of like discussions. Like there's like impact discussions and like submissive discussions and dominant discussions going on all within this like one group's Discord, where people like ask good questions and like share stories from their weekend, things like that. Because like FET is I'm almost equating FET to like Instagram now. Like Instagram's to like for like mass broadcast. It's not for like a small subset of people. Because it seems like you're trying to like broadcast to reach as many people as possible, versus like a more focused message to like a group of people.
And I've talked about this before on the podcast. Is that it? And I hope one day. I don't know if I ever wanted to, or if I really wanted to get rid of KMP, because it is, like I said, if you don't hit that, then no one's ever gonna like recognize what you post.
Yeah, it's very because you have to see it through like a friend, or like
it's very toxic. Yeah, because you support FETLIFE, or are you able to say stuff?
No, I'm actually not a FETLIFE supporter.
That's okay. That's fine. It is when it comes to stuff like that, it becomes like KMP is very toxic. Like you said, it's like Instagram.
It is. What are you doing?
Exactly what you told me to do.
No.
Hi.
I'm getting. Put your clothes on.
Oh, he's just getting a quick blowjob. It's fine.
No. I'm just getting flashed.
Oh, that's so. Oh my God, how rude.
It is rude. I'm trying. This is serious. Oh God, you have the cutest butt. Get out of here.
I'm so jealous right now. Oh my gosh.
Can't take you nowhere. I lost my train of thought. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's okay.
KNP page. Okay, so yes, KNP. I think yes, KNP is a little toxic because it doesn't have a good way of percolating new stuff.
Yeah.
And it almost needs to be like because you can follow like very specific like kinks or like tags, like if you're into like I think impact or like littles, like you can follow very specific tags, but even like that's not like the greatest way to like search like for new people or new interesting people. But like I don't know how you revamp the KNP page to like I said, bring up these other like really great accounts. It's
So that would be your big suggestion to like FETLIFE. That would be like your one suggestion. Be like, hey, like do this, like because I kind of know I've actually recorded an episode with the creator of FETLIFE. If you could suggest that to him, that would be your big thing.
I think so. There needs to be a different mechanism to like bring up other accounts, or like there needs to be like a secondary stream, because like I mean I love our content creators.
No,
They
we don't like OF people. Sorry, I can out loud say that. You don't have to agree with me, but I don't.
You don't?
I like the content creators on OnlyFans. I just don't like the site.
Oh, OnlyFans itself.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
terrible. They really
Yeah.
fucked everyone over.
They did. But like the hard part is like most of the KNP is content creators, right? They've worked very hard to build these very large followings.
But you've been on KMP recently, and it was beautiful, and I loved it so much.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Yeah,
I was
but,
like, oh my god. And then to go on your profile, and you're not a content creator. Like, it was so amazing.
Yeah, so I would like to see like two versions of KNP, because I think there's a lot of people that seek out like those content creators, and that's fine. That's great. I hope they get lots of love and support. But it would be kind of nice to see, like, I'll call them like non-professionals.
Yeah, us amateurs, all right?
Amateurs. Yeah.
Amateurs.
Amateurs. I don't know how to pronounce. I'm an engineer.
No, I'm saying that now.
Yeah, I'm not a language major. I studied engineering, so.
Oh, it's okay. I didn't graduate high school. It's fine.
So, but yeah, I think it'd be very interesting to see a system in place to like pull these. And I don't know what the judgment criteria is. That's the hard part. Is like there's a lot of really good accounts with like under like 1,000 followers. So it would be, yeah, I don't know that what's the good way, because like for me, like I follow like a couple specific like tags, like black and white photography. Usually like when people like tag something like black and white photography, it's pretty like artsy, it's very classy. But I don't know. I don't have the mind for solutions. I just want it.
And that's a beautiful thing. There's a lot of like small like profiles on FETLIFE that deserve a lot more following. They really do.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of, yeah.
And the fact that I think you're at like what 18,000 followers right now.
Yeah, that's kind of bananas.
Once you hit KNP, it goes up insanely quickly.
Yeah, I think I've been on KNP a couple times now that I've like talked to like friends. They're like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, because when I told you that, you're like, what?
I didn't know. I was like, oh.
And that's a beautiful thing that you're not thinking about that kind of stuff. Like, it's not something that you're like trying to achieve or like get onto it, you know?
No, it's definitely just exhibitionism for us.
Yeah, and your exhibitionist is beautiful, and people don't understand. A lot of people will take that word and go, "Oh, that means you're like out in public." No, it's just I like to show off.
Mm-hmm.
Because to be honest, you're kind of a hot dude, so can't blame us. Yeah, are you kidding? Like you and your partner are a very attractive couple.
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, you just saw her tits and ass, so.
Yeah, she's gonna get it later.
Good. Hope I get that. I get to see that posted.
I don't know. We'll see. She might need a rub down. She got ravaged last night, so.
Little story.
Yeah, I mean it'd be like the photo from this morning.
I did see that, but you got to tell the viewers and listeners.
Yeah. So yeah, we went to like it was essentially like a swingers event.
Nice.
Yeah, and like it's at a bar. It's like it was a bar takeover, and like just a lot of socializing and like dancing. And yeah, so like we hung out with all our sexy friends, and like there's a lot of teasing that goes on at these events. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. Some drinks, dancing, and then like definitely like had some fun on the way home in the car.
That's what I was hoping for. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Car play is so much fun. Oh my gosh, y'all! If y'all listening, watching, please you just got a new car. It's all cleaned up. please just take advantage of your car.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, and then we got home, broke out, all of the toys. And she got double stuffed with a wand too.
What a blessed sex life you two have. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And y'all need to learn how to like play with toys, because if you don't have like at least 3 toys in your life.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. So like last night's, for instance, I have a low wand. Love it.
Love it.
It's like the Ferrari of wands, in my opinion.
Okay.
Personally, I like the grip on it and like the head on it. It's really nice. Like you can get different attachments. It's expensive though. It's like $200.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've seen way more expensive, but that's a good price.
That's not bad.
Fuck yeah.
That's great. And then the other toy was a glass dildo. Glass toys.
I'm a huge fan of glass toys. I have probably at least 30 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Glass toys, they're really nice, really pretty, and like the best, like, because they're easy to clean and keep them sanitary.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. My goodness.
Yep, and in my partner's case, they're really hard,
Mm-hmm.
really firm. Like some people really like that. She got all the fun.
Well, I hope that Cat fucking recovers. You give her a nice massage.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
She did so good.
You deserve it, babe, so much.
Yeah, she does. She took it like a champ.
Well, Pat, I really appreciate your time being on here. Is there anything you want to plug or anything before we end this?
No, I don't really have any let me think, any plugs.
We'll make sure that his FETLIFE is in the description down below.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow him because your content is beautiful, and the fact that you don't have an OnlyFans or anything or Fansly, I'm appreciative that you tried it, but
yes, so much work. I'm too lazy.
A lot. And you're so you put out so much, and it warms my heart every time I see you post. It's incredible. You are such an incredible individual. You really are. Even I'm not masturbating to it. I just love your creativity with it.
Yeah, it is fun to think of new ways to tease the FET universe.
I mean, I told you I did one time. I was in the bathtub and I was listening to your audio, and I was like, "This is." I did rock my socks off to it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so there's so I'll plug this, and it's not me. There is an app out there, and I'm surprised I don't hear more about it on FETLIFE. It's called Quinn, and they do audio porns. It's it's a subscription service, but they've got a lot of content creators on there that do audio eroticas of all shapes, sizes for all humans.
Yeah.
And gender identities and.
That's so cool, because
I would.
And you're on soundgasm.com.
Yeah, so Soundgasm is just a free space to post something. I think there's Vocaroo is also one. There's a couple out there where you can upload your audio clip, whatever it is, kinky or not, into the Internet of Things, and you can share the link and people can find it. Whereas Quinn is it's a paid subscription service. It's and it's a little bit more professional, production. A lot of their voice actors they've got really good home setups, or they've got studios that they work with that put on these big productions, and very good. I didn't audition. I sent in an audition for it because I think it'd be really fun to do. But there's a lot of very talented people out there that are doing all kinds of things, and it's kind of amazing to when you just stumble upon it, these universes that you didn't know about. Because I know a lot of people I didn't realize I was into audio things, and I was wow, I'm really surprised more people haven't tried audio porn, because audio porn's this kind of special thing, that allows you to connect. And I think especially for women, to like the scene going on, versus like men are very visual, but like women, like it's definitely like they like to be able to put themselves in the story, which I think is like why book talk or eroticas are like
book talk's too big on TikTok. Oh, Grace.
It is. But like, I think that's why those are so popular. Is like women like get to put themselves into that character, right, and like just like immerse themselves in that scene, in that moment, and kind of enjoy that character's events. And like audio's the same way. Audio porn, is usually speaking to the listener.
I mean, I feel like we all grew up, knowing our moms reading all of those erotic novels and everything. I know that like I used to go to like, Goodwill or something, and like my mom's like grabbing all the erotic novels that are on sale and like reading it to herself. And now that we have audio, just like being able to like put your like headphones on and like just like submersing yourself into that situation is such a beautiful thing. That because you have a sexy voice, so
yeah, I guess I mean like I said, I've been like those we talked before, doing just like for my partners, and like I posted one. And like people liked it, and I was like, oh, okay, these are kind of fun to make, so like I'll just keep sharing them. They're not like as well, obviously, because they're harder to see. Writings don't get. Also, it's my second thing I'd like to see more on FET. Is like like I want to see more like writings promoted, because like those don't reach as wide of an audience, and I don't know if it's because people don't like them as much, or what. Because like photos will get like lots of love, but like writings, they don't get near as much love. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because like people are treating FET like Instagram, and they're just like scroll, or like because like there's some like very creative writers on FET. So that's my other.
Julie, we're gonna tell FETLIFE, hey, start promoting writings, you fucknuts. All right, we're talking about it, and you should listen. So
yeah, I mean,
you shouldn't listen. You should read.
I think people should definitely do more reading. Yeah. I think there's a lot of like visual consumption of FETLIFE, and I think there's like another.
It's an instant gratification.
Yeah, I think there's that's another thing I think that people appreciate about the audios and like eroticas. Like there's like a slow burn. There's something about like being like teased, and then like.
It's all about that. It's all about the edge game.
Yeah. Some of those novels, like I've got a couple now, and I'm like, wow, I see why women are like.
We're really into it.
Get it.
Well, Pat, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to do this podcast. Oh my God, I never did an intro. Oh, I'm Darth Ginger, your host for the Ugly Couch podcast. This has been Patrick, our guest. And thank you so much. This has been fun. I hope you come back anytime you want.
Yeah.
It's been so fun.
Yeah, we'll have to. Maybe we'll be less ADHD next time.
Yeah, maybe we'll take our like medication. I don't know. No. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.